Good morning. Happy Friday. Post-Turkey Day. What? I hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. We had a good one. We did the traditional, I made a turkey, did some mashed potatoes and gravy, collard greens. I gotta do my collard greens. I love collard greens. Rolls, and then mac and cheese. I'm not really big into mac and cheese myself, but I did learn a really good recipe working at that restaurant. My wife loves it, so does my little boy, so I made it for them. And then Noah's grandpa came by to visit. That was really nice. We love hanging out with his grandpa, and he does too. And it was just a good time, I have so much to be thankful for, and it's always good to remember that, even not on Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving is definitely a day to, think about things like that. I have a wonderful family. I have good health. I'm still alive, able to tell my story, to testify of what God has done to protect me. I mean, so much. And I'm so thankful for that. A lot of people don't make it this far. When you really think about it, they really don't. And I'm not even just talking about in my specific scenario, just in life. A lot of people don't make it this far. I'm 36 years old. I can remember when I did praise and worship at the church, we had a series of unfortunate accidents and a bunch of young teens died. I think we had like 3 or 4 in a year or two in a row. I mean, so many. And the family, had asked me to play for the funeral, and we did. We didn't charge anything for it. We just wanted to be there, to comfort them. And it just reminds me that a lot of people don't make it this far. So even if you don't have a lot of stuff, quote unquote, stuff to be thankful for, you actually do. We all do. Which I think ties into what I want to go to on this lesson. Y'all, this lesson's going to be a little fiery. Get ready. If you've been keeping up with what I talk about, you certainly have heard me say the words dark forces, dark occultists, lodge people. And you've certainly heard my opinion on the matter and how I talk about how it is no good, how you get negative karma by just being associated and taking part in any of that stuff that those kind of groups do. Certainly. What makes one wonder, why would somebody then join a dark occult group like that? If they're so bad and evil, what is so enticing about it? Well, for some, they just grew up in it. You have to understand that there is a level of commitment, and there is also a generational lineage, a generational curse that comes from joining these occult groups. I believe they are supposed to offer 2 generations worth of children, the higher up they go. And I don't know exactly at what point, but yeah. So at some point, some of these people who joined, they just did. They had to. Mom and dad made them when they were young. And then they're to make their kids. Sounds fictional, but again, the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. That's one reason. I think that's what plagued my family. We had a lot of generational curses, which is why I was the curse breaker. Anyway, And another reason, and this is what gets people, this is what gets people, especially young families, and they love young families. They love young families. They do a good job of convincing people that there's something in it for them. Imagine you're a young family, you're a young man, you just graduated from school, you started your job, trying to make your way up the ladder. You got things you want to buy. And if you're into the keeping up with the Joneses, you got to keep up with your neighbor. Neighbor got a new truck, new house, good job. So we got to keep up. They play on that. They convince people, well, if you join our club, we've got people and places everywhere. All the way high up, down to the very bottom. And if you join our club and join our network, we'll look out for you. The idea being, if you work somewhere, your supervisor and boss is a part of the same organization, well, I guess that means they're going to look out for you before they look out for anyone else, right? That's one way, one lure they use, twitching it out for you. They don't tell you what it's going to cost you. What's another one? Well, this one's relatable to the first one that I said. If you're into politics or want to work for the government any, they pretty much convince you that you're going to need to be on their team because they've got so many people already in the government, people of influence. And if you want to be a politician or work for your city or county or state, you're going to need to join the lodge. I can remember my uncle telling my dad that, going on to his thing about, what I should do with my life, He was very adamant that I got a government job. I remember he would tell me, Matt, you just want to get a government job. It doesn't really matter what you do, just get you a government job. You know why? Because they got a thing called a pension. And all you got to do is just do your time and they'll pay you for the rest of your life. I always thought that was wild. Why are we still paying for people's pensions after they don't do any work for the government anymore? Why are the taxpayers still paying people's pensions? It'd be sickening to know how much money we spend on pensions that people who don't even serve anymore. So much waste. And then my uncle would follow up and go, and if he wants to work for the government, he's going to need to join the lodge. Why would one need to join the lodge to have any kind of hope of working for the government? I asked a question before in an earlier video, and it'll stand right here on this one. How many people who work for our government are also members of the Masonic organization? Keep that in mind. Do we know that number? We should. It'd be sickening if you found out. And then another one, and this is the big pitfall for many families, this is the point of no return. I'm privy to this knowledge because my folks were high up enough to dig the hole for all those to fall in. What's the American dream, folks? Own your own home. But the problem is houses are expensive and mortgages ain't cheap. So they tell people, well, if you come join us and you do this and you do that, we'll pay off your mortgage. Wow. Pay off a mortgage? A lot of people fall for that one. But it's a trick, a pit. Because the thing is, it's not just that simple. You really think some giant organization is actually just paying off notes and just letting you go? They don't pay off the note. They put it under a trust. You go from paying the bank to paying the lodge. You think it's rent-free? What do you think happens when you don't keep up with your dues? When you don't show up to all the functions that they want you to? When you don't bring your kids to the functions they want your kids at? Or your wife? So these are things, these are the lures, the carrot on the string that they use to dangle, to lure people, young families especially, into a pit. Well, what else keeps them there? How come no one's speaking up? Another good question. Well, they have leverage. I mean, as if, letting them pay for your house or any kind of car note or anything you have, and then they put it under a trust, which basically gives them ownership over the property, the possession. No, there's more leverage than that, because there's something called rituals that you're supposed to do that get you to the next level up that they all so desperately want to climb. But the thing is, each ritual you do involves a embarrassing, degrading act. In fact, these guys take an oath, they swear to never reveal the secrets of their ritual. What's up, buddy? Hold on. So not only the ritual itself is degrading and embarrassing, but they film it. They get you on camera doing these things. And they make you swear an oath of your life to keep hidden. This is why they're all so quiet. Because they're all guilty. I said in an earlier video, there is a point of no return. You ever notice the dynamic of a Masonic family? They don't really seem that happy. They're always backstabbing each other, trying to get ahead. Real brotherhood. We've also mentioned how the Masonic organization and the teachings create narcissism. One might ask, how does it do that? How in the world does it do that? Well, it goes back to what I just said, the rituals. These rituals are designed to give the perpetrator, the aspirant, the initiate, a sense of power over others. What do you think, what physical act do you think would give someone a sense of power over another living person? You ever watch dogs dominate each other? Each ritual sears the aspirant, the initiate's conscience to the divine, to the higher self. with each step climbing up the stairway to enlightenment. They actually become darker. More apt to do evil, wicked things. Oh, but don't worry. You'll look good in public because you'll give money to charitable organizations, right? You'll do volunteer work in the community. You'll do good things in the sight of others. But the Bible says your works are as filthy rags. Why do you think the Bible says that? Huh? Why do you think God really doesn't care that much about what you do? Because your actions can be cloaked. Your actions can be a cloak to the evil, deceitful, wicked intention of the mind. These are some things that happen. All right, buddy. To be continued.